step forwards, a step to the right, because melee combat is fluid, it's dynamic. Like, footwork is a huge part of any sort of melee combat situation. So seeing that represented in game a lot more is very exciting and kind of points towards some of the stuff I'm really hoping to see out of PoE 2, but we'll come back to that in a second. Firstly, I want to hear, what do you guys really hope to see today, or predict that you'll be seeing today? Matha, what do you...
What up, what up?
Well, as far as predictions go, the one thing I've learned over the years with Path of Exile is that I've learned nothing about predictions.
Exilecon, let's get
People
hype.
always come into the channel and they ask, oh, what do you think's going to happen with this? What do you think's going to happen with that? And I engage with that
I'll be
for
working
a while,
on some
and,
audio stuff for
past
a few
time, but
minutes.
I can
while
just
we
never
wait.
get anything right, because you don't know. Like, they always throw curveballs. They're always giving you unexpected things. I thought they're going to buff this. They, nerfed this. Whatever. Like, it's always it's this huge up and down balance, and I can never really get any predictions right. But that said, I think I'm just going to be blown away. Like, it's going. Like, I've been looking forward to what they're going to announce, and I have sensed some discontent in communities throughout all of this, just as they're waiting for Path of Exile 2 and big new leagues and all that. And there might still be some doubt here or there, and I think there's no doubt. Like, it's just going to be a huge
Testing.
burst of faith in, oh, yep, this is the game I chose, and for very good reason, and it's going to be, just unreal.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that as well. Like, people always ask me, what would be your designed league that you would make? And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm glad I'm not in charge of that, because GGG always come up with way better stuff than what I could come up with for that. What about yourself, Rise?
I think I'm going off the deep end. No PoE 2, PoE 3. Okay.
On only mobile, only PoE mobile.
Oh, no, wait a minute. No, I don't want to go there.
So they combine them, right? 2, 1, PoE 3.
There you go.
Makes
That's
sense.
the way to do it.
At Path of X.
There you
It's
go.
all one platform.
Wait, so Elon Musk bought it out?
It'll do your banking for you.
Yeah, okay.
Someone's getting sued. I think lore-wise, it would be really great if they just close the story off before PoE 2. So our characters always kind of like messed with the world, not always in positive ways. I just want them all gone, Blow it up. I don't know. New planet, different world. That would be really nice. Oh, and also I'd love to see, PoE has done really well with cooldown abilities and all sorts of just kind of timings in it. I would love to see maybe some ultimate abilities, something that is a little bit more tied down to particular ascendancies or particular classes, maybe some new classes, Because last time they were talking about how there's so many more new ascendancies. I think maybe spreading them around a little bit with different characters would be pretty cool.
Yeah, adding a little bit more distinction there, like in a very physical sense in the gameplay. Yeah, I'd like to see it too. What about you, Nugi?
Well, I really like Mathel's answer of no predictions. So that was great. So I wish I could take that one.
He's an expert, right? Look at that. What a dodger! I love it.
This really is the Stallcast.
Yeah. But he is right though, in the sense that GGG always overperform, or try to at least, more than anything. So it's really hard to predict what it is, like in which direction they are going. So I'm really excited to see what is it they want us to see. Like, I want to see them in the game again, like really all out. So that's something I'm excited about. And then we have all this beautiful art behind us and statues, and like maybe we will have some kind of a narrator leading us through a story. I would really love that within the PoE 2 story, and just seeing what because there's such a big office now. Like, what can that many people bring within the title?
Yeah, that's actually kind of one of my predictions, actually. I expect a bit of an uptick in the storytelling side of things.
Yeah.
And this was just barely hinted in one of the teasers that I saw, where the character really felt like they were interacting a little bit more with what was actually happening around them. Like, in current PoE 1, you get your character kind of tossing out a cute throwaway line every so often. But the character in one of those teasers was actually kind of like addressing one of the other NPCs there and having like a little bit more interaction with the environment. I'm excited for a potential, improvement in the storytelling side of things there, especially with the like flavor oozing that we saw in previous iterations of the PoE 2 stuff that we've seen. And yeah, this stuff behind us, I don't really know, you guys can't see the top of this, but there's like a giant blood creature, and there's a creepy head up there and a spine. Yeah, they've blown it away with the decorations this year. A little smoky in here too. I don't know if you can see that.
That did actually make me think one of the things I would love to see and always hope to see is cutscenes. So like, you know, it helps build you into the world, into the story, and immerse yourself in that, and really like get invested and care about the story. And I think, you know, this is possibly, if ever, the time for them to have big cutscenes, and that would just be amazing, I think.
Yeah, that would be cool. Even if you don't
cutscenes.
get cutscenes, the one.
It's amazing, though.
it's cool.
It started to look like it was going to go places, and it was going to be really cool. And yeah, we needed more, right?
Just kind of like, you know, dipping their toes in the water with that one, I think. But even if you don't do cutscenes, like kind of big dynamic moments in the actual in-engine gameplay as well. And we saw a bit of that in one of those teaser trailers too, where like the boss comes smashing through the wall and there's debris and stuff flying everywhere. That's a lot more than what we've seen previously. And they started doing that in PoE1 a little bit with like the rework to Brutus and him kind of smashing through the walls. That was an exciting moment, right? It was terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Brutus coming just smashing through the prison and chasing you through doorways and stuff like that. So more spectacular moments like that. Something I definitely think we're going to see a lot of for sure. So definitely looking forward to that. I'm also interested in your thoughts on what we've seen in the past about the skill system. Again, things could be changing a lot, but that's something I've been particularly interested in is this change to being able to have access to more well-linked skills and then maybe a gameplay style that supports using those a little bit more. So a bit more opportunity for situational combat. Not everything has to be like a super hard fight, but you know, the occasional moments where you're like, you have a little bit of back and forth with the monsters, and that gives you the opportunity to use that second or third or fourth extra well-linked skill that you've got access to now under this new system, if that's the way they're going. Do you guys have any thoughts on the skill system and what you'd like to see out of that?
I mean, yeah, part of the thing you were kind of alluding to is also like combinations of skills. So things like Frost Nova, Ice Nova, and Frostbolt, like interactions with skills. It can be a bit clunky sometimes, but when done right and with the right combat around you, it feels really good and satisfying to have. So things like that would be really cool. More of those for sure. But otherwise, yeah, the combat's already feels pretty good, and just more skills.
As there was going to be a design contest coming up, so I guess whoever wins their design will be put into the game for Final Fantasy, so that's pretty cool.
Just interesting to see how you can incorporate the different combos.
Vanity
you have to make a lot
items,
of choices. You can't just have everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
So all of a sudden,
cool.
You have to build into a few things and choose between the right things at the right times. And I think that makes
it's always cool when they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have contests all the time. I always see like the Twitter posts.
Increasingly
I don't know if they do that all the time, like put it in the game.
I feel like back in the day, it was like, oh, if you're playing a summoner, you're going to be lacking a lot of sockets. But now it feels like that's the case on everything,
literally every
100% of the time. So
we got 15 minutes.
Obviously, teased system of having it be tied down to gems could be a pretty good solution. But who knows? It's been a long time, and in GGG fashion, they probably might have come up with something better, even better.
And a big problem that they identified before was like early game, especially gear lock-in, where it feels like you can't change your gear very much in Path of Exile. And that's
I'll be right back
always
too.
Been a thing, and it would be nice to be able to freely take advantage of like different items that you find and things like that as you're going. Have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more kind of breathing room than what we feel like we have with the skills right now. What about you, Nugi?
No, I think the game being dynamic would probably be the main thing that I think they're going to go for. With the whole re-rigging of all the characters, them flowing through combat, and then you find an item on the ground and you can just immediately swap it out because you think it's better. There's no taking out the gems anymore and all that. So everything will just... There won't be many moments where you're kind of tinkering while mid-combat. Maybe you find something that's really good, like while you're fighting a big boss, and you just, boom, I socketed it in immediately. I don't even really need to do all the re-rigging. I feel
like that's GGG's like worst nightmare. We've had so many situations where like swapping out things make
you're already metagaming it. Just have an inventory full of different items for different combat. Like, I'm putting this on now. And
yeah, we're going back to the snapshotting.
Yeah. I'm sure that's gonna. The thing is, with a clean slate and everything changing, you never know how players are going to take that and, you know, be creative with it. Well,
absolutely. Yeah, I think shortening that moment from finding something to using it is like a really good thing to do. It's good for the endorphins, right? Like, some of the I think more successful leagues are those ones that have the shorter gap between like the content you're doing and then the reward you're getting for it. Whereas the the reward that comes, you know, a long time down the line after a lot of stuff is realized, that's a lot harder for a lot of people to engage with quite as much, I think. So that kind of brings me, we're not just getting Path of Exile 2 stuff today. Towards the end of the keynote, there'll also be the reveal of the next Path of Exile 1 League, and it might be the last ever Path of Exile 1 League. Like, I don't know if they're going to do more after this, because there'll be the beta for PoE 2. All focus will be on that. Like, after the beta's out, are we really going to be like, yeah, let's go play the PoE 1 League again?
Going to be a beta.
Well, that's...
Whatever.
Whoa.
What do you know, Siki?
I mean, I don't know anything. I really don't this time. Everybody always says to me, "Oh, you know everything, Ziggy."
They bounce ideas off of you. They, you know.
I really wanted to know nothing for this, and I was super glad that they did not spoil like almost anything for me, so that I could go into this completely blind, because I want to be here with all you guys.
Yeah, we were in the back room, and they were doing stage checks, and we were just like, la, 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 we can't see anything.
Yeah, there was something on the TV there. We're like, no, I don't want to see it. Yeah, we all saw one word, and we're like, no, erasing it from our mind. Yeah, no, it's erased from my mind as best I can.
What I can say is that I did not predict that.
That word.
Yeah,
no, that one caught me off
I did not
guard.
predict that.
Oh,
Yeah, that was one.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's move away from that. What would you guys like to see out of it if it was the final, a final Path of Exile League? It might not be. They might be doing more, but...
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's going to be a big one. I've had lots of people say, oh, you know, they're probably just waiting for PoE 2 and not necessarily going to do anything still big in PoE 1 or leagues and stuff. I think it's going to be a big one. And as always, they're trying to reinvent the ARPG genre to some extent, bring in aspects from other games. And what games I've been playing that are, I think, pretty popular at the moment are these sorts of...
I know what you're going to say. Survivors.
Exactly. I call them like reverse bullet hell, right?
Yeah, the bullet heavens.
Yeah, something like that. So like a vampire survivor thing. And I think they at some point, like very early into the game, touched on something like this, which is the Coward's Trial map. So that's a unique map, and it's basically just slaying waves of monsters, right? But it's very old, very dated, and I could see that they could definitely capitalize on that hype and sort of
I could see that, mate.
an entire league where you just...
If they reveal that now, everyone's going to be very...
Oh, I hope I didn't... Yeah. I'll take credit for, you know, predictive by all means, but I think that could be a really fun league mechanic for just satisfaction in
that
gameplay.
whole genre is like a distillation of action RPGs in general. It's like just take a lot of action RPG, kind of strip them down to like the very base of kill monster, get upgrade.
Yeah.
And it would blend well, I think. And we've seen a little bit of like sampling from other genres. We got some roguelike action recently.
Exactly. And yeah, it just seems like they see what's hot out there right now. How can we bring it to this game? And a lot of the time, it feels like it comes out of nowhere for this game, and it works. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't always work, but it's good. It's worth a try, and it's an experiment. But this one, I think that type of mechanic and system would be great, and who knows? Innovation is their strong suit.
I'm definitely here for that one, but that's one route they could go. Do you guys have any other thoughts of a different route they could go, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah.
Fix trading, bring back Harvest, off the house.
Path of Exile Copium.
Copium.
GGG's been stalling harder in PoE 1 than we have on this keynote. So, yeah, no, I'm just hoping for big bosses and a big wrap-up to the story. Again, the thing we're seeing behind us, you know, it is a little bit of a, possibly an ascended Xana-like creature. I don't quite know how that works out lore-wise. Maps are timeless, all this sort of stuff. I think they might be going big. I remember last time it was Metamorph, and was met with Conquerors of the Atlas as well. So that was a pretty good combo.
Yeah.
Definitely a very enjoyable league.
Conqueror's sick.
Hopefully no picking up of organs this time.
Okay. Automatically picking up organs.
Gonna call them out right now. Oh yeah, we're getting, because we're reacting later on to what we're gonna be seeing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can call them out. Good.
What about you, Nugi?
Oh, it's a tough one. I mean, a big wrap-up would make sense if it is really the last PoE 1 league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just like Rai said earlier, blow it all up.
Blow it up.
Just blow it all up. It always works, because what's left in the in the ashes? We'll see about that. Or a boat league.
I mean, that's always the other option, right?
Yep. There's always a boat
and or
league.
fishing league.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had gardening. Surely we can have fishing actually at some point. And as the like final, just like a meme send off for PoE 1.
Yeah.
I think Crystal curses the gardening league. Quite a bit of.
Well, yes, we know they do. Certainly.
I don't think they like that one.
I think, yeah, it's kind of the ending of an era. We're moving from PoE 1 to PoE 2, and we're jumping forwards in time significantly. We're not getting a whole new world, but we are getting propelled forwards into the future and maybe exploring new lands. So it basically is a whole new world in one sense. So some sort of send-off. I would love, even if it's just a little thing, just some little send-off incorporated into the league or into the game, or maybe if they're doing some sort of like update to the end game, something like that, you can couple that with like something, a little bit of a teaser of what's happening in the end game when PoE 2 comes out as well, because we've had some invasions from otherworldly entities recently, and that's certainly been hinting and leaning towards an extension of that. So there's going to be two kind of new storylines getting explored here, both Path of Exile 2 and its campaign storyline, but also what's happening with the end game. What is the Maven heralding forwards for us? You guys have any thoughts on that?
I mean, not really. Like, how much bigger can you go? It's
I know,
already,
right?
Like, we're already cosmic. Like, you start out on the beach and you got a driftwood club, right? And then you're slaying the cosmic entities from...
Well, that's what I think is rather interesting, is that we have Path of Exile 1 got really big, maybe too big, killing all the gods.
Yeah.
That's like the storytelling thing is like, you get to that point and it's like, okay, you got to kind of pull it back a little bit. And it looks like we might be going a little bit more humble, a little bit more grounded for the start for PoE 2, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think so. Oh, so, man. And PoE 2, like being able to pull down to something more of a grounded story, something a little grittier maybe, a little bit less crazy over the top, and then contrasting that maybe with the endgame being a different thing, because they've always been a little bit separate, right? Like you have the story of the campaign, and then you get into endgame, and then it's its own separate story that's evolved separately and on a different timeline, with some weird wacky stuff when you start to think about which Exiles were where and which Exiles we're playing now and which Exiles we're playing before and how they incorporated the story. It's kind of like a wild system that is difficult to explain to non-PoE players, perhaps.
I mean,
even two PoE players, it's difficult to explain.
I can fully expect a new world and everything. Just, oh, well, if they kind of close it off in a way with a big bang, maybe it's like kind of a reset and then we keep going further and further.
All right, I'm
I'm
back.
hoping for that. Because you were speaking very confidently about the beta and maybe no new world. Maybe we're going to do an invasion on the world of wherever Maven's from and all that. I would love to see that big, mighty boss battles. I think PoE has been doing really well with that. And they're ramping it up every time. So the more of that, the better. Because it used to be a little bit disjointed too, you know? Back in the day, it was like, oh, you could do this boss or you could not. But now... they're tied into the main gameplay, and I really love that. I think it's really great.
Yeah, I think bossing has been getting better and better, and those like spectacular moments of those big boss fights have become both the thing that propels you forwards in chunks through the game and through the end game, and then also the big goals too, like to take on these various bosses and then the uber bosses behind them. We have so much there in Path of Exile, and that's been getting better and better. And from what we've seen in the past, the bosses in Path of Exile 2 campaign look awesome. Like the previous demo, like the Devourer and those very boss fights that look like more interesting arenas, more interesting fights. And that's something I hope to see a lot of today, hopefully, is like some cool boss fights. I know we've got like 30 minutes or something of gameplay time live on stage, so...
Spoiler.
Yeah.
And
also
difficult gameplay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they've ramped it up.
You were mentioning, Raz, you'd heard something about that.
Yeah, the difficulty is supposed to be through the roof. So if you're a player that's a little bit concerned about what you're going to be seeing here, if you're a father of 17 children and you've got the dishes to do and you can only play 20 minutes a month, I think don't worry about it too much. I think there's going to be plenty of gameplay for everybody.
Yeah, you won't run out anytime soon in that situation.
I think so. Well, I hope so.
Any, we're almost to wrap up time and moving over to the main stage, but any final thoughts that you guys want to throw in? Anything you hope to see or anything like that? We've got 2 minutes, Noogie.
You turn to me?
Yeah.
Final thoughts? I just want to see passion.
Yeah.
I just want to see passion and just people just giving us everything they've been building It's predictions. I really at this point I just don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe an MTX.
Okay,
I would like to see a toucan.
Yeah, these movers are starting to piss me the fuck
That
off.
would be nice.
I originally
What about you,
planned
I
a month
would
and a
just
half
love to
ago
see a
for
nerve
this
for Wilson
Saturday,
up on stage.
Yes.
and they
Yeah.
pushed it
For
back
as
to
much
Sunday at the
nerves as
beginning of
I'm
this
having
week. I'm
right
like,
now, like doing
okay, now we
this
can't
sort of
do
thing
anything
and
till
waiting for the
Monday.
reveal,
I'm like,
it's
if you push it back
pales
again,
in
you're gonna start
comparison to
paying
getting
my
on
rent.
stage and revealing
Because
Yeah.
that's the
for
first,
past
and they're gonna
few weeks,
ask me to pay
just
rent
seeing
for
someone
that
so
day.
excited about their game.
Yeah, I know they're all like super excited, but also super nervous. I saw a lot of them.
I don't care.
I had all this time to plan
whatever.
ahead.
Feel that
day.
excitement.
Yeah.
Rise, any closing thoughts, mate?
I literally
Before we
ordered
sprint
this
over
moving
so
truck
we get
a
our
month and a
seats.
half
Yeah,
ago.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Chad.
remember.
mean, everybody from
Yeah.
the GGG side has felt really, really
And when I said, well,
excited. We
originally
were
supposed
trying
to
to
be
get
together
them
for
drunk at
Saturday,
some of
and
the
you guys moved
parties.
to Sunday.
Weren't
It's like,
happy.
oh, I don't
They're well
we're having
trained.
that
Yeah, no
conversation.
spoilers.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
really,
Okay.
they weren't giving us anything.
so if they push it
That's
back
good,
again,
Was
I
last
will
time even.
probably have to then
Also,
go
I've
talk
got
to
to
the
remind
lawyer
you,
and be
folks,
like,
if
well,
you're
they need to
watching
pay rent.
live on Twitch, don't forget to connect your Twitch and Path of Exile account so
Good
you
luck
can get
getting them to
drops
do that.
access to.
I
is
don't
there, like,
care.
a cool hideout or something like that, or do we only get that? I don't know.
I am not
There
paying
were some
rent
really
because
nice
they can't
wins
figure
and
out
all.
their own fucking
Yeah,
schedule.
great.
I think so, but yeah, they look really good, those drops.
Excellent. Yeah, so make
Because
sure you hit that
if
up.
I am
We're
here in this house
just
on the
about to
first,
go
I will
over
have to pay
to
rent.
the live stage, and I can't wait to see what we're going to see from Path of Exile 2
There's
and
no way.
Path of Exile 1. It's been very exciting. Thanks for hanging out with us for
Yeah.
the stall.
Yeah, fuck
Cast, I'm
that.
Ziggy D with Mathel, Rise, and Noogie. We'll sprint back over here just after the keynote is finished. There is not much time left, so we'll see you fine folks over there in just a moment.
Yeah, at that
Thank you
point
very
it
much.
would be on them.
Yeah.
D4 bad.
Because it was originally scheduled for Saturday. And then they pushed it to Sunday. And just now they pushed it to Monday.
Alright, I'm gonna grab a drink real quick while this last 30 seconds goes
Okay.
down.
Heard him say we're getting 30 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah.
Go fill up my coffee super fast.
Or donating money.
I'm late. It's over, isn't it? That could have been us, Flea, right there, but you playing.
Okay. Let's get it.
Let's do it. What if the clock just started ticking upwards?
Hey guys, how's it going? Parian here,
Variant.
and welcome to Exilecon! Thank you all so much for joining us here in New Zealand. It's quite a journey.
like that
Thank
shirt.
you guys for joining us online. It's
I
gonna
need
be
a Path of
fantastic
Exile shirt.
show.
Sure.
So you guys want to learn about what's coming up in Path of Exile?
You guys don't have phones?
Oh, you do?
PoE 2 is going to be on mobile phone.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the people that are best to deliver that information, before we get into Path of Exile's wonderful future, let's take a moment to go over all the wonderful things we have already experienced in Path of Exile. Let's take a moment to check out Path of Exile from the past.
remember installing it on my old computer too and couldn't play it.
Go with God. Death to sin.
That's amazing progress for that amount of time, too.
Bow to your queen, mortal.
You there. Let me bend your ear for a moment.
Why are you so in love with death? The weary traveler draws close to the end of the path.
Goddamn labs. That's the patch that put labs in.
Labs is the best.
Legacy.
What in damnation have you done?
Tava.
You divide, rot, spoil, and fester. Ready, Exile? It is time to hunt!
Let's make history.
Afraid of the dark, Exile? You should be.
My cause fuels me.
Do you remember dying here? You will.
That's a lot of ads.
Exile!
You've never even seen Legion.
Nope. So I play Legion. Hold on.
Exile.
I don't do that one very often.
Lyrium. That's for
Yeah.
fat juice and maps.
Should be rather legitimate. Does the toy wish to play? With
Calandra's where I started.
Your path to greatness has taken a hard
2022, basically.
I was involved in this one briefly.
There's no time. I've become too weak to sustain the blood crucible.
Your sullen defiance ends here.
Was Atlas rework?
Another mortal.
Yep, that's where I officially started. Got addicted.
Oh my god.
One trailer. On the beach.
What a transition. Notice the graphics are a little bit more sharp.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Thou creatures.
That looks cool.
His speculation of a monk class from that.
Got lightning that's good.
That's a cool as fuck intro. Ooh. Oh, that's a great wallpaper right there.
Yep. I'll probably make it the new wallpaper.
Supposedly they're going to try and make it
Wilson
easier
from Grinding Gear
for
Games.
newer players to join.
I hope not. They might
Welcome
do
to
some
Exile
stuff.
Con 2023. It feels like just yesterday that I was here on stage at Exilecon 2019 announcing Path of Exile 2. Since then, we have worked tirelessly on the content we're going to show you this weekend. To everyone here in person, thank you so much for coming out to join us. It honestly feels so good to know that people love Path of Exile so much that they fly across the world to come and celebrate it with us in person here. I really hope you have a great trip and make the most of your time in New Zealand. Our last Exilecon was a magical experience, and we've tried to go above and beyond in every way this time.
If you're tuning in online to watch the live stream, thanks for joining us also. I wish you could all be with us here, but to ensure you have the full Exilecon experience, we have made sure to include every talk and session as part of the 2-day live stream this weekend. Twitch drops are enabled for the live stream, but if you're here in the audience, you'll automatically get them when you redeem the microtransaction code in your swag bag, so no need to stream it from your phones while you're watching.
Swag bag.
You'll also receive the attendee-only Exilecon 2023 hideout. We have so much to share with you this weekend, and let's just get right into Path of Exile 2.
What?
I'd like to introduce Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts, game directors of Path of Exile 2.
Oh, they're gonna actually be playing it. They got the PCs and everything.
Hey guys.
Means we get
Chris has been
bloopers.
running Path of Exile 1, Mark and I and over 100 other developers have been hard at work on PoE 2. And honestly, the project has become much bigger than we expected when we announced it in 2019. It's been almost 4 years since then, and so it's about time we showed you what we've been working on. Oh, hang on. Okay.
Surprised we haven't been working on it.
When we announced Path of Exile 2 at Exilecon 2019, we told you guys that we were releasing it as an expansion to PoE 1, and that both campaigns would be playable in the same game client with a shared endgame. But PoE 2's scope has continued to grow and grow, and it's far more than just an expansion with a new campaign. It has entirely new monsters, skills, mechanics, classes, everything you'd expect from the next generation of action RPGs. Not to mention revamps of most of the PoE 1 League content. This thing is just freaking huge. There was a point when we realized that our plan to replace PoE 1 with PoE 2 would essentially be getting rid of a game that people love for no real reason. So we made a decision. Path of Exile 1 and 2 will be separate with their own mechanics, balance, endgames, and leagues. But it's still a shared platform. Your microtransactions are available across both games. Everything you have ever purchased or will ever purchase in the future will be usable in both games unless it's hyper-specific to the content of one of them. You can't transform into a bear in PoE 1, so a reskin of your bear form isn't going to work. But you absolutely can equip the awesome armor set that you got and use all your stash tabs.
They're gonna make leagues
so
for both of them?
I'd love to show you a live demo of some of the stuff we've been working on. PoE 2 has come a long way. Mark here is going to man the PC. Hopefully he doesn't die. It is a live game.
He's gonna die. Kind of crazy to think about that there's still going to be support in the first one.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
All right.
They already do a lot for one game.
Yeah.
They need to do more.
The gods caused all this, you know. After Oriath was destroyed, I traveled, searching for answers. Everywhere I went, the same divine devastation. It must end. I will end it. And no exile will stop me.
Where's my champion? There's a mod class. A druid?
There's a lot of classes now.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
there was a couple of new ones. A few. That's a sick-ass looking boss. The prisoner.
Rib for
Dude.
you.
If I'm playing this, why would I want to play the first one?
Nostalgia.
I thought he was gonna rip that thing out of his fucking mouth for a second.
That's what it looked like.
That's a fucking sick set. Yeah, these mobs are sick. They've showed off a lot of bosses just in this little clip, too. 100, 600 monsters, 100 bosses. Oh my god.
30 seconds.
6-person co-op.
This world
That's sick.
will will be
More
reborn,
people.
no matter the cost.
Dude. It's already more than I was expecting. $100 fucking bosses. I'm ready.
It only cost you $200.
All right, Mark.
I'd pay it.
Your turn now.
So
Welcome
it's
to
free
part of
to play.
Exile 2. We'd like to start off by showing you some of the gameplay of Act 3, one of the 6 acts in PoE 2's campaign. We're starting here
Can't
in the
see
jungle
the gameplay.
depths. Act 3 is set in the ruins of the Vaal civilization, which fell thousands
Nice
of years
flask.
ago. Jungle has taken over their former once great cities, and we'll be exploring it using one of the 6 new character classes called the Monk.
6 new
In PoE
classes.
1,
I
we
knew
have
I
one
saw at
character
least
class
4.
for each of the combinations of strength, dexterity, and intelligence. When looking at the design of PoE 2, though, we realized that many of the new skills that we were trying to design
slick.
just
I
didn't
liked
really
that.
fit thematically with the existing classes that we have.
monk
Being a
class is
spellcaster
trying,
with a bear form makes sense for Strength Int, but it just doesn't really sound like something a Templar would do. We realized that since we had new mechanics for every attribute combination, it actually made sense to design a new character class to explore the new themes. In PoE 2, every attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it. Strength Int has the Templar or the Druid. On Dexterity, you have the Ranger or the more spare-focused Huntress. And on Dex Int, you have the Shadow and the Monk, which Mark is playing here. Each class has its own 3 ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in a way that only that class has access to. But they both start at the same location on the passive tree. The quest
I like the
rewards you are
effect on the
offered
ground
the
for
2
that
variants
lightning.
are tailored to the class.
Yeah.
But of course, this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content.
That spear circle doesn't do shit for damage. I feel like it's more like a stun.
You're trying to
Looks
show
like we've
it
come across the
off.
boss for this area. In PoE 2, every area of the campaign contains a boss of at least this difficulty. That's over 100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign, and they all have unique mechanics.
Yeah, this is just... I'm liking the... I mean, they've always had mechanics in their bosses, but this is sick. I've noticed the dodge roll, too.
You've probably noticed that melee combat in PoE 2 is a
There's
very
a
different
class
feel than
we
before.
get.
We've done a lot of things to our ability to combat. Practically every melee skill in PoE 2
already
has some kind
tried.
of
Most
movement
likely. He's on his
built
own.
into it. But the Monk in
If he
particular
tries
is
the
a melee
second time
fighter
around,
who
he's on his
specializes
own.
in mobility over brute strength.
I like how the attacks are like leaving like indents in the environment when he slams.
Yeah.
Just that added little bit of detail.
So, as Mark has been playing, you might have noticed these blue markers over enemies. Mark has a skill equipped called Killing Palm. Whenever an enemy has a blue indicator over it, it means that the monster has low enough life to cull with Killing Palm. Successfully executing the cull will give you a power charge. This is an important skill for the monk, since many of his skills interact with power charges. One of the great things about
Wait,
this skill
they're
is that
dropping
it has
gold
built-in
on the
dash
ground.
forward, which makes it much easier to target the skill right at the point where you need it. We've done a huge amount of work in PoE 2 to make using skills like this feel satisfying. If you're accidentally targeting slightly off the monster,
I don't know how I feel
it will
about that.
automatically lock onto the cullable target, and it will even do a small amount of pathfinding
What
around
do you mean?
obstacles. We really
I
want
mean,
to
they
make
already
sure that
got one of the
you've got
best
opportunity
currency
to use the
systems in
skill.
any
Nothing
game.
is going to get in your way. Once you have some power charges, you're going to need some
Why do we
skills to
need
power
gold
up.
is my question.
A great follow-up is Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder without a power charge.
I imagine they'll
creates
probably
relatively
explain
small
it later.
lightning AoE in front of you. But if you do it with power charges, it turns into a pack clearer with a large number
Kind
of
of feels like
projectiles.
they'll take the currency from like the first one and make
One
it
thing
more
to
like
notice
an
is
in-game
that
currency.
almost
Out
every
about
melee
it.
skill in PoE 2,
What,
Falling
gold?
Thunder has a little bit of
Yeah, they're
extra
freaking
movement
out
built
about
in, just in case you need it. Use the skill within range, and you just do the flip in place. If you use it at a larger range, and your character will move forward while executing it, getting you into position without any time penalty.
I like the effects that your
In PoE
abilities
2, you
leave
also get a
on the
short period
ground.
to redirect your target. Notice how you can start the skill facing one way, then whip the mouse sideways to land the skill in a different direction? Now, in order to get power charges, you're going to first need to get some lower life monsters into a cullable range. You've got a few options if you want to charge right in. Whirling Assault is great. It doesn't do much damage per hit, but it covers a lot of ground. And notice how you can turn as you do it? Generally speaking, you never lose control of your character in PoE 2. If you make a turn at the right time, you can get a couple of extra hits on the monsters, getting them in range of your cull. Follow up with the Killing Palm and then finish off the rest of the pack with your Falling Thunder.
They did. There was a lot of speculation that they were trying to make Path of Exile 2 more casual. I don't know how far they would plan on going.
We've now entered the Val Mechanarium. This is the place where the Val built the various constructs that they relied on to power their civilization.
Like the waypoint.
Now this is a find. A Val ruin that hasn't been looted.
Alba Temple.
She's got a Spaniard
One
helmet.
useful feature we've added is the ability to call in NPCs to where you are to give you more information or help you with quest objectives, rather than always having to go back to town. In this case, we've called in Alva to find out what to do.
This mechanism, if powered with a small soul core, it could open that door. There should definitely
he's got
be soul
8
cores
skill
somewhere
points.
around here. They
I
have
know.
to power these constructs
We should
somehow.
use his skill points.
As Alva just said, we need to find a small soul core to open this door. Let's explore.
Probably saving it
If you
for
want to
later.
shave off some life without getting too close to some of the more dangerous monsters, a great option is Wind Blast. Wind Blast also doesn't do too much damage, but it keeps enemies back.
Motherfucker
The closer
teleported.
they are, the farther they're pushed back. So it's a great option for keeping smaller but higher damage enemies at bay. Note that the bigger the enemy is,
someone in
the
the
less
crowd's
they'll be
going,
pushed back.
"What's
so
the
trying to push back
gold
some giants
for?"
isn't going to be as effective.
Alt F4.
And there's the soul core. Let's get back to the door.
This guy busting rhymes.
Looks cool. I like it. It's a cool class.
Yeah.
Might need. I'm sure there's more to it than what they're showing, of course, but I feel like it's gonna be more of a support class.
Well, we can have 6 people all together. That'd be great.
I mean, I'm
Magic Finders,
Now, if you need
rejoice.
to defeat tougher enemies, it might be time to break out some of the ice skills in the monk's arsenal. Glacial Cascade creates a wave of ice that moves slowly in front of the player. It's pretty ineffective.
I mean, them showing the
against
gold's no
monsters, because most
accident,
of
so
the
they'll
damage
talk
occurs
about
right at
it.
the end of the wave. And so a lot of monsters
That
will
ice
just walk right by it.
animation's
But if you
fucking
can find a way to make a
amazing.
monster stop at
Yeah,
just the right
it looks
place,
good.
It can be very effective.
It looks like rocks.
In order to do that, you're
Almost.
probably going to want to freeze some monsters. The monk has a few different tools to do this. A fairly simple option is to get right in the monster's face with Ice Strike. Ice Strike doesn't do too much damage at the first 2 hits, but attack 3 times in sequence and you can get off a combo that has a much higher chance to freeze. Get in there with the freeze, then roll back and finish the job with Glacial Cascade.
Are they not gems anymore?
Now,
The
remember
way
how
he's
Glacial Cascade is that
specifying
extra
it.
damage
They've
as
already
like
talked
the
about
monster
this.
does.
It's
Frozen
gonna be
enemy with
different.
that spike
It is
shatters the
gems.
ice from the enemy and does a devastating amount
There
of
are
damage.
gems, but the
This is a
system is
really
getting
great combo
better.
against bosses, as you'll see
Not gonna be
later.
on your gear no more.
Oh yeah, and I've just been casually mentioning rolling
Gotcha.
around.
I
Don't
didn't
forget to
watch
mention
it,
that in
so-
PoE 2 we added a dodge roll
Yeah,
to every
they've
character.
talked about that a long
Just
time
press
ago.
spacebar at any
Like
time to
a
roll.
tiny bit.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good mechanic.
Huh?
There's no cooldown
Just being able to
and
roll.
no limitations.
Yeah.
Different than dashing.
And it even has pathfinding
No
in it, so
cooldown.
you don't get stuck on anything. When you
And you can just continuously do it. What do you say?
When you dodge roll, you're not
I didn't hear.
invulnerable. If something hits you, you're going to feel it. But most things aren't going to hit you. And that's because while you're rolling, projectiles and melee strikes will always miss. You'll
Okay,
have to
so
roll out of the
immunity
way of a
frames.
slam that has AoE, but anyone swinging a sword or throwing a fireball is going to miss. Now, another important function of dodge roll is it lets you cancel out of any skill at any time.
Ooh.
This makes it so you don't feel like you're getting stuck during a long animation when something's about to hit you. It really changes
Animation
how skills with longer
canceling.
attack
We'll have
and
that.
pastimes play. It makes dodge roll a very reliable feeling way to avoid attacks. So that's one way to get out of the way of damage, but the monk specializes in mobility, so it would make sense that he would have some more. Wave of Frost is one of our new attacks with a retreat built right in. You move backwards and throw out a cold attack with a significant freeze. A great thing about this is that it puts you at a good distance to follow up with a Glacial Cascade and do a whole pile of damage.
He's auto picking up that loot too. I'm pretty sure that skill gem
Yeah, he
just
is.
went straight to his inventory. That's huge. Yeah, portal scroll just went straight in. No, it's just disappearing.
Yep.
Never mind. I saw it. Yeah, they're just
I was
disappearing
gonna
after 2
say,
seconds.
I don't know
Actively
if I'd
filtering
want
that
auto
out.
pickup unless you could make it to where it only auto picks up
Yeah.
certain things.
Yeah, do the filter.
Could you imagine if it picked up everything every time?
Yeah.
Be going back to base like every 2 minutes.
You can't do that in mapping. You know, like well, at the moment, I don't know what mapping's going to be like in PoE 2. But...
Yeah, it's just disappearing after a few.
Is Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm is a palm strike that puts a small ice bomb on the target. Kill or deal enough damage to the target and the bomb will explode, doing some damage and a significant freeze. It's a great option against bosses where the wave of ice might not be enough to get that freeze off. But you still really want to use Glacial Cascade to get the damage bonus.
It did auto-pick the gold, though.
Yeah. They had a league with, or a event with gold.
Today is Flicker Strike. It's a monk skill and another skill that consumes power charges. If you've played PoE 1 before, you know what to expect.
I hear him saying monk skills. I'm assuming that the classes will have their own skills now.
It's a great finisher for tough boss fights if you are able to get some power charges beforehand.
Maybe they'll have some, but nah, it's gonna be still skill gems.
Yeah, I just heard him say the word monk skill. That's why I was like...
Okay, so yeah, maybe each class will have, like, a little handful of skills.
Yeah.
He might have
said
it.
I just care about Karen these days.
That's what I was saying. It's
Well,
probably
they gotta show off
this
the combat.
This sub kind of seems like a more support.
I did
Here we have Blackjaw, former overseer of the Mechanarium. When the Val fell, he was turned to stone and now guards the area. In order to take down this boss, we're going to need all the tools on the monk's arsenal, especially the combo.
I really like the dodge roll.
To that boss.
Now, if you're a PoE 1 player, you might think you can't rely on freeze because there's so many bosses that are immune to it. But in PoE 2, that's changing significantly. In PoE 1, freeze is a binary mechanic. An attack freezes
I started the trend. I said DPS, and now a bunch of people say DPS, DPS, DPS.
Even freeze bosses.
Something you could only really rely on while pack clearing, and not something you could use as a core part of your build for boss fighting. In PoE 2, though, all crowd control mechanics now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever other CC mechanics.
So like Elden Ring and Dark Souls.
From games like Elden Ring.
Yep, he said it.
When you freeze an enemy,
I'm feeling like a lot of stuff being borrowed from Dark Souls with the dodge roll and the like he said, the status effect bars in the background.
Got one of the best melee combat games out there.
Other CC mechanics, allowing us to let these kinds of mechanics actually work against all bosses.
Like it.
Is he locked onto the boss? Did you see how he rolled around the boss?
Yeah, they talked about that earlier.
They mentioned if you click at least nearby, it'll lock on for you.
Yeah, even after you start the animation, you can still control your character. Same with when you're using skills.
I literally thought that was a circle from like God of War.
Yeah, because they're talking about how you have more control out of your character now. Like, you can still like control the direction you're going.
We do better to use those 8 skill points.
Alright.
hey, put that in chat now, Revan. Skill points. This boss is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting more attack. Oh, he died!
What?
Should put them skill points in the HP.
He tried to roll around too much.
Alright. Let's take 2. Alright, so this might be a good time to mention that in PoE 2, if you die to the boss, you have to start again from the start.
Good.
There's no boss cheesing.
Good.
So, hang on. Oh, there might be a... Are you okay? Oh, 1 second. One technical issue. Just typing some
Use them skill points.
All right, we good? Back to the stream.
We all know the feeling.
All right. All right.
Round 2.
Let's go.
Whoever balanced that, like, come on.
Ooh, it does the angle transition too.
Oh, really?
Looks like we're getting 40 minutes of gameplay. Got 3 health flasks. How'd he die? Oh, you can push him
I love
back.
how you can push him with the boss.
Yeah, I really like that you can do CC on the bosses and stuff. Dude, and we got 100 bosses. This is gonna be sick.
Heal, you son of a bitch.
You got full health right now.
I like that not only does he do an animation, but he does a voice cue when he's about to do something.
They've always been really good about that.
He hasn't been able to freeze him in a minute.
Oh, got hit. Good.
Okay. Do the. Oh, nice.
Do the thing.
Whoa.
I don't even know who that guy is. Is he like a PoE player or something? Or does he just work for the company?
He works for him.
He works for him. If he was like, if he just played PoE, they need to get someone better because he died on screen. That's dishonor.
Unlike some companies, these devs actually play their game.
Give me a freeze. Come on. Oh, hey. Go.
Almost got him.
What if it's
This
a
is
two-phaser?
This is about the point where my heart would be racing. Get his ass.
Freeze.
The only thing...
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Let the pressure get to you. I couldn't do this on stage, to be honest, no matter how easy or hard it was.
It's doing it. He's doing it.
No. Get it. So good. There you go.
After this.
No.
What do you...
Okay. All right.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
He's hiding a lot of loot from the screen.
Second time's the
I
charm.
noticed.
Yeah.
So, Blackjaw has dropped a consumable quest item here called the Flame Core. It's a permanent +10 to Spirit. In PoE 2, we really want to make sure that you feel rewarded for exploration.
Hello. Yeah.
It wouldn't be much good if we made all these awesome optional bosses if we didn't have something great to find for killing them.
I hear you guys.
One of the things you might find for killing a boss is permanent stat bonuses for your character.
I wonder what Spirit does.
I wonder what Spirit does.
All right, now because this random area is different, Mark will have to find his way to the exit the hard way.
This is, because I died, this is no longer rehearsed at all.
All right.
I just realized that he died, and starting from the beginning, you have to go all the way back to find your way out.
That's fine. We get more. We get to see it for longer.
As much as I like, I do want to see the other classes. I mean, the monk's cool, but I also want to see some damage doers.
They already said that they're going to show some of the harder content, so I'm sure we're going to get a little taste of, or a tease of the end game.
Watching it, it's like end game. This dude's still rocking that stick. He's just bop, bop, bop. It's
I
only
want to
just like
see
a
some
millimeter
like
damage.
juiced map gameplay. Got cursed.
So like Mike.
Yeah.
No. Just gonna go around this way.
Need to use those killing palms more often, Mark.
You see the circles are curses.
Yeah.
Your fate is sealed.
Those are New York City rats.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh shit.
They almost got him too.
Oh my god.
My poor heart.
Lightning strike. Oh.
Lightning
You got
bolt.
completely lost there.
I have no idea where I am.
That's about right.
All right. Yeah, there we go. All right, here we are. Here we are. Here's the X.
I'm gonna die to these sentinels somehow.
All right. Let's go right through. All right. All right. In order to help with the next area, we're going to call in a sorceress. I'd like to welcome Octavian to the stage, who's going to join the party with Mark, so they can play through together.
Sorceress.
All right, 1 second.
Sorceress Supreme.
All right. Here we go. All right. The Sorceress is the new intelligence-focused character in PoE 2. While the Witch focuses more on occult magic and summoning, the Sorceress is themed around pure elemental destruction. Let's have a look at how she plays.
This is the largest soul core I've ever seen. With this, we could power the canal systems. But it isn't charged. There is still latent
I like
energy
that
in
wall.
this machinarium from its ancient operation. These lines
This
in the stonework
obviously is
should
Aztec.
lead to generators.
Yeah, it's Alva.
You might need to find
So
some
it's
more
like
soul
the
cores to
incursion
fill them
temple.
up, but everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition. Maybe the golems have been maintaining it. In any case, it should still function. We'll have to remove that large core from the wall, of course, but that shouldn't be a problem.
We have some skills here you're probably going to recognize if you've played PoE 1 before, but they feel a bit different now. Spark is great in these tight passages since it bounces around. We've added a pierce support gem.
Spark?
to really
That's
allow it to hit an entire
that's
room
already
full
an
of
That looks
amazing
way different.
change.
For a more
Yeah.
single target focused skill,
The fact that
Arc is
it
a
bounces
great
off
choice.
walls,
It does
that'll
much
help
Spark
out so much
already
with
did
that.
that.
you hit.
But
Now, if
the
you find
animations
yourself
for it
surrounded,
look
might
way
be a good idea to
different.
use
I
ice
like
mode.
it.
It hits all enemies around you and slows them down with a chill. Just be careful. Getting up close and personal isn't the ideal place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented character. In order to help with that, though, you could use Arctic Armor. In PoE 2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as you stand still. You can see the ice crystals forming around the character.
That's cool.
They drop off if you walk.
That's cool.
When monsters hit you, they take cold damage and build up to a freeze. So it's a great defense. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect.
Still?
So trying to stutter step using it isn't the best strategy. Now, Arctic Armor is an ongoing buff, but did you notice it didn't reserve any mana? How does that work? Well,
Oh, yeah.
we're pretty sick of the fact that in PoE 1, basically every character was playing with no mana pool. So we decided to change the way that reservation works. In PoE 2, there's a new resource called Spirit. Spirit is a dedicated resource that you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, and Minions.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Everyone starts with 100 Spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more, you're going to need to get some more Spirit, which is available on mods from items and on the passive tree. But if you're willing to give up your offhand slot, the easiest way to get it is by holding a Scepter. Find out more about that in the items talk later on. Now, if you want to increase the cold damage that you're dealing, you can always use Frost Bomb. It places a bomb on the ground that reduces enemies' cold resistance while it's ticking down.
So far, no new skills, but they do look different. Very different.
And speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with lower cold resistance is Comet.
Okay, Comet's new.
This is a new skill in PoE 2 and it hits pretty damn hard. It costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage.
Dude, I want to build a Comet character where it covers the whole screen.
Opponents, but it's great for tougher enemies that stand still, or even a larger pack if you're further away and can predict where they're going to move.
Max AoE.
Now, if you run out of mana casting too many of those, I guess in an emergency you could use your free-to-cast Fireball. So where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way that we've changed caster weapons in PoE 2. Now, in PoE 1, caster weapons had a default melee attack that nobody used. And because they had that, they also had a bunch of attack mods that would spawn in them that were useless to a caster. In PoE 2, we wanted to clean that up. So each staff now comes with a built-in free-to-cast spell.
Nice.
Just put it on and spam away to your heart's content. Now, this particular staff is the base type that you'll get right on the starting beach, so it's quite likely that you'll have outgrown it by now.
I love the artwork for the gear.
We've also made a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use. Here we have a crystal staff.
I just hope there's a lot of variety.
Built-in spell called Unleash. Using it slams
I mean, they already have a ton of variety.
Your next spell. Now, of course, what you're probably going to have is speed. And Comet is a great option.
You gotta play the game more than 2 hours.
Well, then I hope it's variety altogether.
It's one of the few skills in PoE 2 with a cooldown. In general, we really try to avoid using cooldowns because we really hate the feeling that combat is just waiting to cast your next spell. But it does make sense for Unleash since it's free to cast, and it's something we want you to use.
They just took a jab at Diablo.
Now, if you're facing something tough, you might need to try out Mana Tempest.
They were talking about cooldowns.
Mana Tempest creates a circle of power which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains, but it powers up all your spells. Lightning projectiles will fork, beams will change further,
animation's
and
good.
you also do a lot more
Yeah.
damage.
That looks like a fucking lightning storm. Shit. See, this is the kind of character I'd want.
No mana.
No mana, but you sure as shit casted that comet though, didn't you?
So, with all of these skills, here's a great combo to try. First, cast Frost Bomb.
What is this? I got a fucking ad in the middle of him explaining shit.
Follow up with Unleash, and then
That's weird because there ain't no ads on it.
amount of damage.
I'm a fucking ad right now.
He's fighting people on me.
I don't care about State Farm. I'm trying to watch Path of Exile.
Gotta love Twitch.
What the fuck, dude? Explain anything I need to know about?
Come from?
No.
He's ghosts.
Yeah.
Just more combat.
Those
it's fact now.
lightning strikes along the ground make it seem like there's some kind of like red outbreak of something.
Instead of dropping specific gems, you can find uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want.
That's sick.
Whoops.
Okay, yeah.
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 The gem the tree level is the level of the area that dropped it. So it's a lot easier to change between skills in PoE 2. This time, I think it might be cool to grab one of our meta gems. Meta gems are skills that can have other skills socketed into them, changing how they work. In this case, we're going to select Cast on Shock. Now, let's equip this thing on the skill screen and choose which spell to trigger with it. I think Comet might be fun.
Nice.
Now, because Cast on Shock reserves Spirit, we'll need to first disable our Arctic Armor. We have to decide if we'd rather have the extra defense or the extra offense of the Cast on Shock using our Spark.
That was the new system I was talking
trigger
about.
gems use a system of filling up cast
Have
time on each
they
trigger.
got a video on that
Basically,
system
if
yet,
a
or
skill
was
has a
that
short cast time, it will trigger really often.
They have in the past, but after this it'll be outdated.
You can see on the top left corner that there's a counter that shows you how long until the next trigger.
Nice.
What's up with the ghosts?
Hopefully he shots the monsters.
And you can 6-link everything too now.
There we go. And there you have it. That's using
That's
cast
there
and
together,
shot.
but I don't see
We
the
automatically
monk anywhere.
cast comment whenever we're using our lightning skills.
Probably.
He's right there.
Bottom right. Oh, you can't even see him. Yeah, he's.
Oh, hard to see him.
So we found the generator.
He just came out of the darkness for me.
He was pretty dark for me too.
That's cool.
A jet engine.
As power is restored to the Mechanarium, all the constructs are coming back to life. We're going to fight them on the way back to the charged Soul Core. So, one thing that PoE 1 players might have noticed is
We don't have to
character has
backtrack
both
with an
lightning
empty
spells and
dungeon?
cold spells. That's pretty inefficient, right? It's a big no-no for most builds because any specialization into cold or lightning isn't going to affect the other element. And generic
Look, he did
elemental
his,
damage increases are not going
skill
to be as
points.
powerful as focusing on a single element. Well, in PoE 2, we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems. And it starts, oddly enough, with weapon swap. Now, in PoE 1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended purpose. We imagine that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in. People just don't do that at all. And a large reason for that is
See
because
the
it's really,
things we
really
get?
awkward. In PoE 2, we wanted to
Are the
solve all of
Twitch
that.
drops?
The staff Octavian is using
Yeah.
here has an ice mod on it that makes
You
it great
see
for
what
when he's
they
using
look
his
like?
ice
They're
spells.
badass.
We would
Showed
also
you the
like to
other
be able
day.
to make sure that this build works just as well for
showed
his
me a
lightning
picture.
spells. If Octavian equips
Yeah.
his previous staff in his second
Yeah, they're
weapon
sick.
set, you can see that it appears on the character's back. Now, we're going to
I
open up
haven't
the skill
distracted
screen.
lately.
If Octavian
you're
opens
good.
the skill options for his lightning skills, you can see here that you
Drops
can
are
choose
sick.
which weapon sets are usable with each skill.
You get a portal effect and some
First,
wings.
we uncheck set 1 from being used by his lightning skills. Then we go through the cold skills and turn those off with his lightning weapon.
So, from that,
It's gonna
yeah,
take
it
a
makes
minute
it
for
seem
me to
like
get used
that-
to that.
If I can remember where they all are.
It looks like the
Now, when we use
sorceress
Spark,
gets
the character
those
will
spells,
automatically
and then
switch
you
to the
put
lightning staff
spells,
on his
and you
back,
put
and then
gems on
use
the
the
spells.
skill.
And
When
it
Octavian
changes, so
uses
you don't
Ice
get to
Nova,
like.
his character automatically switches
They're gone
to his
away
ice
from the
staff
fact that
before
you could
using
be
it.
a source of a witch, but then build into a bow.
Oh, you can still do that.
But you don't. You can only
You
use
can
the
configure each
abilities the
skill
witch
for which
has.
set to
right?
use, or both if you don't mind
No,
switching.
Use
There's a
every-
no,
very
the
short
staffs
time
are
penalty
gonna
for
have
switching,
abilities
so
on
it can be
them.
good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're using. But we still have a problem: passives. Wouldn't it be nice if we could
My
specialize
question
in
is
both cold and lightning
if I pick
passives
a
on the
sorceress,
character?
can I do a monk skill, or is the
Well,
monk
in
the
PoE
only
2
one that's
you
allowed to
can.
do that?
I don't think there's. I'm sure you're gonna be able to
There's
do whatever
similar
you want.
skills.
They already said that earlier.
We do this demo.
Yeah, there's similar skills, but they also have their
we're on the
own
passive
skills.
skills
Yeah, I was
here,
just wondering
and you can see that
because
we are
what they
close
were
to both a
showing,
cold
where
and
they're
a
like,
lightning
this is
cluster.
the monk
At
skill.
the top right of the screen, you can see
That's
that we
why
have
I was
some weapon
questioning
set
it.
specific points to allocate. If
That's
Octavian
interesting
holds
that they have
shift,
that.
he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives, and then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives.
So we can have two builds basically.
Now, check it out. As we use our weapon swap, the skills allocate changes from one build to the other
Okay.
automatically.
That's pretty dope.
There's
So whenever we cast the appropriate spell,
a
the
lot of
character's
potential with
passives
that.
reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that spell. Now you can't do this with every single passive on your tree. Only points granted from skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization. So you're not going to be changing from a mace slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button. But it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds. There's a huge
Trust me,
number of
my
places where
mind
this
started
system can
wondering
shine.
on that.
You can augment your dagger shadow build with traps, or have a great curse set up on your witch with one spec, and then move to your chaos debuff spells with the other, for example. It really opens up your options. Now, another fun metagem to try out is called Barrier Invocation. This works a little bit like the trigger gems I talked about before, but this one charges up as your energy shield is hit by monsters. We're going to put an Ice Nova in this one. The more energy shield you lose, the more charge builds up. Just get that one equipped there, yep.
Energy shield
the more
charges
energy
in.
shield you lose, the more charge will build up, until the point you're able to cast the socketed skill instantly. There we go. So you lose some, so you lose some energy shield, and at just the right time, invoke Ice Nova to cast all the stacked up copies in one instant cast. If you keep losing shield, you'll build up
So
even
kinda
more
like
charge
cast
for
on
even
hit.
more casts. So it's a great defensive
Yeah.
option in an emergency.
Similar. Be a good combo for a defensive gem.
Pick up the gold.
Overkill.
And here we are back at the charged Soul Core. All we have to do now is take it.
This looks like a boss room.
He just, yeah, the way he just did that. Come on, look at that. Look at the spacing of that.
Don't die.
Just take it.
Just take it. The cool.
Hey, the wall you like's coming to life.
Yeah.
Don't die this time, guys.
That's sick.
Warden of the Core.
Frozen? Nice.
Stay still.
Away from the wall. Oh god. Frozen, no. Good.
Frozen, nice.
Helps that we're both doing ice damage. Cold damage.
Stay still!
He's heavy stun. Open. Nice. Frozen.
Stay still!
What up, Ken? How you doing, Ken?
Frozen again.
Getting real lucky with those freeze procs this time.
All skill.
Come on, that sucker's got this jet engine power source. What other stuff does he do?
Nice. Frozen.
A triple comet.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Looks like it's gonna move back on him. There, yeah, that's what I was looking at. Okay.
Triangle.
So,
That must have been the slam.
interesting that that line just stayed there and didn't do anything else.
Culling. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Culling.
So that's Path of Exile 2. These areas, as well as around half of each of the first 4 acts, are available to play at the 3 demo zones around Exilecon. Now, if you're physically here in this event and you get to play the demo, just remember, it's a different game than before. It's a lot harder. You're probably going to run the first pack of monsters and just die. I really recommend you read the signs. They have good advice on how to combine your skills effectively, and remember, dodge rolls on spacebar. Use it.
Oh, please give us the demo
You're just
at
gonna
home.
die otherwise. So your next question is likely to be, when is the beta? Well,
Yes.
we're in our last year of development, but we're still finishing acts, adding skills, and balancing everything.
Aw.
The closed beta is going to start on June 7th, 2024.
No.
Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming, and we're incredibly excited to be near the finish line, but we're just not quite there yet. We're determined not to rush this and make sure we get everything right.
Fair enough.
In the meantime,
But
there's a
I'm
lot
still
of stuff
sad.
here we won. I'll hand back over to Chris, and he's going to talk about what's coming up.
Definitely not the last league of PoE 1.
Thank you very much.
Get your wallpaper.
Damn, next year. There's a lot of... Man, next year gonna be lit.
World War III lit.
So that demo is very hard for them to do in person. Like, I am very
I
impressed
bet.
it went that well. So as Jonathan explained, Path of Exile 1 will continue to be its own unique game once Path of Exile 2 comes out. We will continue to update it with expansions and leagues going forward. And because accounts and microtransactions are shared between the 2 games, and their expansion releases are offset from each other, it's super easy to jump between them and effectively play both if you want. So I'm going off script for a second here and just going to explain this a bit better. Imagine we release a Path of Exile 2 expansion, right? So everyone dives in and plays it. You give it, say, out of the 13-week cycle, you're going to play for, some hardcore players play for the first few weeks. Some people play for most of the time. We're going to aim a Path of Exile 1 expansion to come out towards the end of that cycle, say 4 or 5 weeks from the end, which also lasts for 3 months. So because Path of Exile 2 has more content and is a significantly larger game, it will mean that you can play Path of Exile 2 for the majority of the cycle, and then either keep playing if you want to keep playing Path of Exile 2, or jump into Path of Exile 1 when its League launches and enjoy that, either for the entire period or until the next Path of Exile 2 one comes out. And of course, because your purchases are shared, if you were to buy supporter packs or microtransactions in either, they're just available on your characters in the other. Speaking of Path of Exile 1 expansions, we've got one coming out in just 3 weeks, on August 18th. Let's watch the trailer for Path of Exile, Trial of the Ancestors.
Souls such as yours do not go quietly
The
into
next
the
league.
night.
Yeah.
They thirst for battle. They yearn to prove themselves. Welcome to the halls of the dead. Earn your place among us. Under Hinikora's watchful eye, test your mettle against the greatest warriors who ever lived.
Is this PvE or PvP? Be weird. No way it's PvP.
Prove yourself.
You technically have PvP in
To the trial of the ancestor.
That's PvP.
I don't think it is.
Okay, so so you get an army. It's almost, is it gonna be like almost like an auto battler, but just not the auto? That's what the countdown is for.
We don't know what our tower defense is.
Nice.
14.
I figured they were reworking the chieftain.
In the end, only one can become champion. Will it be you?
It will not be.
Moved in and set up by then.
In the Karui Afterlife, the fallen chieftains of each tribe participate in a tournament called the Trial of the Ancestors. You will journey to the afterlife, assemble your own team, and enter the tournament to battle those chieftains and earn valuable rewards. As you play through areas in the Ancestor Challenge League, you'll find tradable silver coins. Using them will take you to the Karui Afterlife, where you will encounter Navali, who you may remember from the Prophecy League. Each coin allows you to play a match of the tournament. You start the tournament with a basic team consisting of 3 warriors. The tournament is double elimination, meaning you're allowed to have 1 loss without consequence. A second loss eliminates you from the tournament. Your team will compete against 10 other tribes, and you choose who you're going to challenge next out of the teams left in the tournament. When you start a match, you see the configuration of the enemy team and get to place your team of warriors on the battlefield to challenge theirs. You and your party of exiles will play alongside your warriors. So while this league does have many elements of an auto-battler, you're right there fighting alongside.
Auto-battler, but you get to play it.
During a match, when a warrior dies, they respawn at their totem after a short time. If their totem is destroyed, then they are instantly killed and can't respawn. The team that destroys all of the opposing totems wins. If you're playing a hardcore character though, don't worry. Hinokora, the goddess of death, is watching over you and will restore your soul to your body, so you can't permanently die in the afterlife. Like that. In the Trial of the Ancestors, strategy and tactics are key.
Crucible.
Every unit has its own strengths and weaknesses that must be utilized to win matches. The turtle is really slow and really tanky. It's perfect for either defensive positioning to stop flankers or offensive positioning to tank hits for you if you're pushing through the middle. It's not great in the center or flank positions due to its slow movement speed. The Tuatara is a quick and deceptive unit, which is relatively well balanced for all positions. This version of the Tuatara has a stealth ability, which makes it perfect for the flanking position to sneak through enemy defenses and take out unprotected totems from the side. The Goliath of Night is a disruptor unit, and it's ideally placed in a center position to intercept enemies that are chasing you. You can also allocate it to defenses so that it disrupts enemies that are trying to kill your totems by stunning them. So in this match here, we've set up a Tuatara in a flanking position, a turtle on defense to guard our totems, and a Goliath to follow us as we attack up the middle. Our plan is to work with the Goliath to distract the enemy front line so the flanking Tuatara can get through and destroy some of their totems. Teamwork. Upon winning a match, you earn favor and other rewards. I'll talk about the other rewards shortly. There are a lot. You have a separate amount of favor with each tribe, and you can spend it by talking to their chieftain to recruit warriors and purchase field items and equipment that your team can use. Each tribe has specific specialities. For example, Hinakora's tribe manipulates life and death. Rongo Kurai's tribe is slow and tanky, with an emphasis on stuns and knockbacks. You can recruit warriors from many different tribes and mix and match them together into your team based on what you need. Field items are items that are placed on the battlefield and can be activated during the match to, for example, revive a warrior or heal your entire team. If a field item isn't consumed within a match, it persists on to the next match. But your warriors, their equipment, and your field items are all wiped between tournaments. You enter each tournament fresh. Your success in a tournament updates your overall ranking, which helps you in better rewards in subsequent ones. Speaking of rewards, let's discuss the good part, what you can earn for succeeding at the Trial of the Ancestors. You can tell this gets me excited. Okay. You get a reward as you win each round of the tournament, and these rewards are visible when you're selecting which tribe you want to play against.
Oh.
They'll help inform your decision, as some of them are regular rewards and some of them are exclusive new rewards you can only get from the Trial of the Ancestors. I'm literally tripping over my words to get to the part where I can explain tattoos. Okay. The Ancestors reward you with special tattoos that are not applied to your skin, but they're engraved on your soul.
Small passive.
This process can transform what your attribute skills on the passive tree do, basically the attribute highway nodes generally. The regular ones can only be applied to basic attribute skills and allow you to convert your tree's attribute highways into something more useful for you.
There's probably going to be some good ones that do the big passive skills.
Skill into movement speed. Each tribe has its own exclusive passive tattoos. This tattoo converts a small strength skill into additional fire resistance. This one converts a small intelligence skill into additional lightning damage.
Yeah, this is cool.
And this one converts a small strength skill into one that summons a minion when you take a savage hit from a unique enemy. But don't go overboard on the number of skills you convert with tattoos, as you'll probably need at least some of your attributes left to equip items. Each of the 10 tribes has an exclusive unique item that you can earn. These rarely show up as rewards for defeating that tribe in a match. Katava's Hunger is a unique majestic plate that you can earn by defeating the Katava tribe.
A good chess
As you can
piece.
see, it grants an immense amount of life for a single item, providing you don't have any life on any other pieces of your equipment. While this is tricky to accomplish, it also frees up all those other potential life slots to be something else that benefits your build, making it pure upside. This amulet is a unique item you can earn by defeating the Arohongui tribe. It has the powerful effect of causing your flasks to instantly recover life and mana whenever you're low.
It's going to be paired with Mage Blood right there.
Powerful panic button, or maybe you want to build around permanently being on low life or mana, so all of your flask usage is instant. If you manage to win the entire tournament, you'll not only receive the reward for the final match, but Hinokora will also give you a choice of 3 additional... button didn't work. Of 3 additional exclusive items. Let's have a look at some of the things you may be offered. First up, there are 4 unique items that exclusively come from Hinokora for completing the tournament. This belt, for example, lists a plethora of really powerful properties, both beneficial and detrimental. While you're wearing the belt, the property shifts around every 5 seconds. You never know what's going to happen next. Will you always crit, always evade, never evade? Maybe you're able to find some ways to build around the detrimental effects to create as much upside as possible. Hinokora also has a selection of special, more advanced passive tree tattoos that you can only receive from her. This one transforms a 30 intelligence notable attribute skill into one that increases the level of all of your intelligence gems. You're only allowed 1 copy of the specific attribute combination tattoo on a tree. Hinokora can also award you with a new type of item called an Omen. These are small items that sit in your inventory until a condition is met, at which point they are consumed and something happens. In this case, when you reach 25% life, your flasks are all replenished. Now don't worry, each player can only consume 1 Omen per combat area, so you don't have any reason to fill your entire inventory with them. This one creates a portal on death. We made it for me.
Yeah, I need that one.
It won't try to save your life, but it will save you some time. This one grants you Soul Eater when you level up. It's definitely worth carrying around for that occasional massive power boost. Omens are tradable but hard to get, so use them carefully. I shudder to think about how much this one is going to be worth in the presence of those incredibly rare unique weapons from 320. Now note, going off script again here, back in the day, when we had stuff like the Prophecy and so on that let you upgrade to rare forcibly on a specific base type, we had to block the good items by putting crap uniques on the, sorry, I meant upgrade to unique. We put crap uniques on that base type so that you couldn't get it every time. Well, we stopped doing that. So a lot of the uniques that were upgraded in 320 are just the only thing on the base type. So items like this let you deterministically get something quite valuable, hence they are quite rare.
Mageblood,
The most
Headhunter.
exciting one, though. Finally, Hinokura can offer you a lock of her hair. This is a very special currency item that lets you foresee the result of using another currency item to craft something. This means, for example, you can know whether it's worth exalting your item because you will know exactly what the outcome is. Hinokura's lock will slot into your crafting pipeline with powerful consequences. The Trial of the Ancestors offers a wide selection of valuable new rewards as you complete matches and tournaments. We really look forward to seeing what strategies you develop for building, equipping, carefully placing, and playing alongside your
That's a good-ass item, too.
So that's the new Challenge League, but Path of Exile expansions contain more than just a new league every 3 months. In each update, we also augment Path of Exile's endgame and shift the metagame with new gems and balance changes. This expansion is no exception. I'm going to explain the other changes in a medium amount of detail. I'm conscious that we have both new and existing players. For new players, I'm going to try to include some extra content to help make the changes more understandable. You can find out all the detail in the patch notes and other information we'll be posting in the few weeks before release. Let's start with how the Trial of the Ancestors expansion expands Path of Exile's endgame. In December last year, we released an expansion called The Forbidden Sanctum, which introduced the Sanctum Challenge League. This league was a roguelike game set within Path of Exile where you would randomly explore a randomly generated sanctum one room at a time, alongside your regular play. You'd pick which rooms you wanted to explore out of several options and accumulate beneficial boons and detrimental afflictions that made your run easier and harder, respectively. Not only did Sanctum work really well as a league, but it also had the potential to be added to Path of Exile as part of its core endgame content, alongside systems like mapping, delve, and heist. Well, in this expansion, the Forbidden Sanctum is back. I've really been looking forward to this one. We're reintroducing the Sanctum as core content in Path of Exile's endgame. You'll initially meet Divinia, the Sanctum NPC, in Act 10.
Here you go, Flea.
Sanctums are now tradable items that you can find while playing maps in the endgame. A Forbidden Tome represents a whole floor of the Sanctum, and its rooms can be played back to back, or you can take breaks between them and do something else if you choose. Upon successfully completing that Sanctum floor, the next floor is generated as a tradable item with all of the state of your Sanctum run built in. This means that the item stores what boons and afflictions you had, what rewards you've locked in, and how much resolve you have left. You can then either play this floor or trade it to someone else if it feels more beneficial. For example, let's say you manage to lock in a really valuable reward. The example here is a Mirror of Calandra, but you'll also notice that... Do I have a laser pointer? It doesn't work on the board. Okay, 1 resolve. This is an example here where the player has a very good reward locked in, but a massive pile of dangerous afflictions and only 1 resolve on them. If you don't feel capable of completing the rest of the Sanctum from this point, then it would normally be a write-off, right? If you gave this to me, no way am I getting that mirror. But
yeah, no way I'm getting that mirror. I'm selling it. Give me 20 divines.
To earn the mirror or lose it. And you can look at expected value in economics, right? It's worth some percentage of that mirror. So you trade it for like 5 chaos to someone, they run it and lose their chaos.
5 chaos? No.
Your relics, which act as passive bonuses within the Sanctum, are locked in for the run when you start the first floor and can't be changed for the rest of the run. Speaking of relics, they're now tradable and have been rebalanced around us.
But it's based
so those of you wondering, we have decided against bringing back Sanctified relics
so
for
many
now.
times.
A complete Sanctum run now requires killing the final boss, Lycia,
So if
in
you
both
do a
her
melee
first
build,
and second
it's really
form.
hard.
She will always drop a unique
Because every time I
relic,
go
and
in,
these
I
have been
get hit.
reworked and replaced
I kill
as
him
we
and I get
rebalanced
hit.
everything.
You just said they
An important aspect of the new
rebalanced
Sanctum
it
balance
all.
is that your primary defenses
Oh,
now
did
have
they?
some effect on protecting your resolve. Your armor allows you to mitigate resolve loss, and your evasion grants you a chance
Scales
to
with
avoid
your armor.
resolve loss entirely, a lot like how armor and evasion work. Your energy shield grants you Resolve Aegis, which is a mechanic that works similarly to how energy shield behaves for life. In light of the new defensive opportunities and learnings from the original Challenge League, we've rebalanced the difficulty of Sanctum, especially in later floors, and have worked to add more monster and room variety to runs. We've added new boons and afflictions themed around the new defensive mechanics, and have rebalanced many of the other ones.
50%
Like
more
other
defense with
optional
that.
endgame systems that involve tradable items,
That
players who
rework to
don't want to
resolve.
play Sanctum can trade their
Yeah, that'd be
Sanctums
nice,
to other
'cause
players
that's
in
what I
exchange for an
struggle
item
with
or currency that
was,
benefits them more.
getting
Yeah.
hit.
Successful Sanctum play can
A lot of
generate
people
a lot of
struggle with,
rewards.
like, melee
It'll
builds and
potentially be
stuff.
possible to build characters dedicated to Sanctum running and just farm Sanctums repeatedly
It's
in
an
order to
interesting
profit.
build. I've never seen that one before.
Sanctum isn't the only improvement that
Like
Trial of
bunch
the
of
Ancestors brings to
magma
Path of Exile's
balls.
endgame. We're also introducing 16 new Atlas
Never
passives,
used it.
Atlas Keystone passives to the Atlas passive tree.
Nice. What we
As a
got?
quick summary for new players joining us, the Atlas Tree is a system that allows you to customize your endgame experience in Path of Exile. As you complete different maps, you gain skill points that can be allocated in the tree. You could use these points to modify the behavior of different content you encounter in endgame maps to make it more difficult or more rewarding, or to behave entirely differently. The system allows you to double down on the content you enjoy and avoid content you don't. Keystones are really impactful passives that totally change how endgame systems behave. Usually they have an element of give and take and require you to come up with new strategies to take advantage of them. Each of these 16 new Atlas Keystones
new.
changes how you might interact with Path of Exile's endgame. Let's have a look at some of them now. We will reveal the rest of them before the release of Trial of the Ancestors in a few
This
weeks.
still has 2.5 hours left.
Extreme
of content.
Archaeology completely changes how you play expedition encounters. Instead of placing a series of regular explosives, you now place one gigantic explosive. Every
That's
single
cool.
chest or monster
That's
in the
better,
blast
because
radius
I
is
hate
affected
fucking
by
doing
every
expedition.
remnant in that radius.
Yes, just one big explosion. Let's go. I will actually do some expedition. That's a good change.
Speaker of the Dead makes it so that tormented spirits can possess you rather than
Oh.
possessing monsters,
Okay.
boosting your stats instead. While
That's
possessed, you can
nuts.
touch monsters just like a spirit can, making
Oh,
them
you
stronger
can?
and more rewarding. It's kind of getting silly at this point, isn't it?
Good
Look how
sign.
fast that son of a bitch is running.
Blight is like a tower
That's
defense
nice.
minigame
Okay,
inside
slow.
Path of Exile. The Cassia's Pride Keystone makes it so that Blight monsters take significantly less damage from players and significantly
But more
more
from
damage from
tower.
Blight towers. This basically lets you go all in playing it like an actual tower defense game.
Yep, and just sit there and
Because we
AFK.
can. Lucid Dreams makes it so that Val's side areas in your maps are no longer corrupted, meaning that you
that's
can use
interesting,
currency
too.
items to change their mods. That's right, when you encounter a Val side
Yeah.
area, the Keystone lets you craft it.
Okay. Might be more purpose to going in there besides the first week.
Yeah, so we rebalanced the side area mods, we've improved reward outcomes, and we've made the downside mods a bit more punishing, you know, just to make it interesting to try to go for the good outcomes. You may also rarely encounter a unique Val side area. Destructive play makes it so that the
that's
Maven
new.
will summon between 1 and 3 extra random map bosses when you are fighting witnessed map bosses. This keystone is analogous to the Eldritch Altar keystones that make those influences more difficult but more rewarding. There are another 11 new keystones that we'll reveal over the next few
It's gonna be
weeks.
4 hours
Together,
long,
these
right?
16 keystones mean
Is
that
it?
regardless of how you enjoy your maps, you'll have plenty of new
I
ways to
just
play
got
Path
the
of
first
Exile's
reward,
endgame in this
and
expansion.
then the second
And I should
reward
note, in
says
the
I have
initial draft of
40%
the
of
keynote,
4
I
hours
painstakingly
of
went
watch
through every
time.
single
They're
keystone. It
doing
took like 10
multiple
minutes. But we'll put
talks
them in the
through the
news to
weekend.
save you some time here.
I was worried
In the
about
Trial
that.
of the Ancestors expansion, we're
what
shifting
before?
Path of Exile's metagame in several ways. The first is by introducing 14 new support gems, which are designed to take existing categories of skills and provide entirely new ways to play them. For full information, check the final gem hovers when we post them in the next few weeks. Let's have a look at a handful of these support gems now. In Path of Exile, war cries usually buff your party but don't directly hurt monsters. The Corrupting Cry support gem turns war cries into damage-dealing skills by making them inflict corrupted blood on monsters affected by the war cry or by your attacks that it exerts. The returning projectile support gem causes projectiles from supported skills to return to you, piercing all targets but dealing a little less damage.
Okay.
Oh God! Arrows come flying back towards you.
I love it.
Example 2.
Oh, I might have to do lightning strike build again with that. Oh, that's cool.
The fresh
with the
meat
magma.
support gem causes minions created by supported gems to gain adrenaline,
fissures
critical
with
strike
that.
chance, and critical strike damage for a duration after they're first
Constantly
summoned.
doing Magnus
So you've got to work out a
fissures
way to
again,
keep
but
refreshing
not
your
on
minions,
totem.
and it makes them a lot more powerful. The Flamewood support gem causes totems to trigger projectile mortars at enemies that hit them. This is particularly synergistic with totems that can taunt enemies, such as Decoy Totem, or one of the new Chieftain Ascendancy skills that I might talk about shortly.
But yeah,
The
they're probably going
Sacrifice
to talk about
support gem
Chieftain.
works on spells that you either cast yourself or through totems. These spells now sacrifice a percentage of your current life or the totem's life to gain additional chaos damage based on how much life was sacrificed. The Frigid Bond support gem affects link skills. Come over them. Enemies caught in the beam are chilled and dealt cold damage over time. This creates a new tool.
The clothesline build.
Oh my God.
There's going to be two guys that are going to beat the entire game
I
doing
mentioned it was
that.
going to get silly.
Yes.
The Locust Line support
It's gonna
gem
happen.
looks OP and affects attack skills that use bows and
Holy
arrows.
shit.
Instead of directly using the supported skill, you throw mines in an arc that use that skill for you, targeting your location when you detonate them. In addition to these gems, there are another
show
skill
more.
that we'll be revealing over the next few weeks.
Show more.
In addition to the 14 new support gems, our balance work for the Trial of the Ancestors involved us revamping 2 Ascendancy classes. These are the subclasses that you can specialize in as you play through Path of Exile's campaign. Each main character class has 3 Ascendancy classes available. In the last expansion, Crucible, we overhauled the Pathfinder and Saboteur. This time, it's the Guardian and Chieftain, which are specializations of the Templar and Marauders, respectively. While we were very happy with the theme of the Guardian, it was falling behind the power level and popularity of other Ascendancy classes. Our changes in this expansion have modernized the class and will present you with more relevant build opportunities than before. Brace yourself. Okay. Path of Exile 102. Harmony of Purpose can power up parties using link skills. Time of Need now completely cleanses and heals you every 4 seconds. Radiant and Unwavering Crusade both fully embrace the Holy Summoner theme by giving you access to some exciting new types of minions that are exclusive to this Ascendancy class. We have this picture on the announcement page, Path of Exile.
Yeah, I'm going to need the picture so I can read it later.
Next.
There's wallpaper.
While the Guardian's revamp was similar to that
They're
of
on
the
a Chieftain
Pathfinder,
on my
the
volcanic
Chieftain has received the Saboteur treatment. To be honest, we were unhappy about many aspects of this Ascendancy class in its old form, and so we have completely redesigned it. You can play it now. It's basically an entirely new Ascendancy class with the same name and art and a new way of approaching its themes. Its new skills let you, among other things, cause enemies to explode, turn off enemies' fire resistance while you're stationary, convert passive skills to apply to fire damage, and have your fire resistances apply to your cold and lightning resistances. I'll just give you a sec more to read.
Oh no, that's enemies.
All right, that's on the site too for you to check out. It's pretty powerful now.
They have no fire
To celebrate the
resistance
release of
when
the
you're
Trial
not
of the
moving.
Ancestors, we'll be hosting a
Zero
boss kill
fire
event.
resistance.
To
That's-
enter,
that's
create a hardcore solo self-found character in the Ancestor League and race to kill all 7 Uber Pinnacle bosses on the same character. Note that unlike the last event we ran, this one is not a ruthless event. We'll post more information about the event and its prizes in the news before release. Best of luck to everyone. For the Ancestor Challenge League, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Shade and Disciple packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
That's fucking
I like that a
These packs
lot.
are only available for the duration of the Ancestor League and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in
Like
these
a
packs are
stained
purely
glass,
cosmetic
like, look.
and do not affect
Yeah.
the character's power
That's
or
cool.
progression in any way, despite how cool they look. The Shade series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. All right.
They've always had
The
S-tier
sarcophagus back attachment
cosmetics.
imprisons an unspeakable evil that struggles to break free.
That's cool.
Nearby monsters send it into a frenzy, and enemy deaths provide it with souls to feast upon.
I like that.
The Stygian Waypoint
yeah.
shackles visitors to your
That's it.
hideout in chains, yourself included. These chains are just cosmetic, though, and they break as soon as you
What?
move. It would supposedly be a gameplay advantage to be able to imprison people. The Ferryman's armor set is so full of trapped souls that someone will try to escape.
I think I like
Moving
the other
while
one
wearing
more.
the boots
Yeah, I like
will
the
leave
other one
souls
more.
in your wake trying to break free.
Still looks cool though.
Oh, the
The
walking
Infernal
is cool.
Portal opens a gate to the Netherrealm when you
That was
approach.
dope.
This
Yeah.
prompted a lot of internal discussion about whether
Oh,
using
that's cool.
Hellfire to heat your hideout is
What?
actually safe
That's
and
a
practical.
sick portal effect.
The demon-bound crafting bench allows you to enslave
That's a
and malevolent
crafting
entities
bench.
to craft items for you. Be
Hell
warned,
yeah.
it has
That's
a sharp
awesome.
tongue and will mock you mercilessly.
You chained me for such a paltry use.
The Nebula character effect causes items you pick up to orbit you
Look at all
in
the
an ethereal
items.
cloud of loot.
Oh my god.
The Disciple series of supporter packs also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. Look at dog.
Got Flask.
Look
I'm
at
going to put that
dog.
in the top pack.
Dog.
The Hero's Landing finisher effect summons a marble statue from the heavens to execute unique
Oh, that's
monsters you
cool.
defeat. You decide whether it's the sword or the huge lump of rock that actually kills them. The Bell Tower map device heralds the opening of a new map with a peal of bells.
Oh, that's cool.
Start to run out of portals though, and it will reflect your desperate situation.
Oh no. Oh no.
This is fine.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh no.
The Cathedral armor set refracts light
That's
through your
sick.
character,
Yeah,
creating
it
beautiful
is.
patterns on the ground around it. If your life gets low, it responds in kind. The Observer Diamond Flask summons a tentacled mass that fires its eye lasers at enemies you critically strike while the flask is active. Again, cosmetic. The Currency Orb charge effect lets you pick from a number of different currency types to replace your charges with, as long as you've used that currency item anytime from today onwards. Some
Mirror
people-
Calandra.
we have to store it in the database, right? Some people will show they can be part of the exclusive club of players who have actually used a Mirror of Calandra. This effect also causes your charges to display in town. So the theory is you go use your standard mirror, which we all have, right?
Right. Still haven't seen
The
one.
Faithful Hound Pet is a very good doggo, and it knows a few tricks. You can command it to sit, roll over, or play dead.
Yeah.
And yes, you can pet the dog.
Yeah.
That was a problem beforehand.
These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase, and purchases like these
I want
directly
things
fund the
from
ongoing
either
development
side,
of Path of
but I don't
Exile
know if I
1
want
and
like a
2.
full pack of each one.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the Lithomancer and Enchanter packs leave the store forever at the launch of Trial of the Ancestors, so now's your last chance to purchase them. There's some good stuff in those too. Thanks for your continued support. The fun part. For the last Exilecon, we developed a special card game that encapsulated the full gameplay arc of Path of Exile over the course of the event. Players could defeat monsters, progressively upgrade their items, use currency items to craft their equipment, find and run maps, and eventually defeat pinnacle bosses to earn rewards. It was a whole lot of fun, and we've had so many requests to run it again. So this year, we're proud to bring you the 2023 version of the Exilecon card game. And like all Path of Exile expansions, it even includes a challenge league. In your swag bags, you'll have found a box of Exilecon cards, and then a gentleman outside will have asked to purchase them from you for real money. If you have any cards left, you can use these to challenge GGG staff members who are walking around Exilecon as monsters. They'll be wearing t-shirts showing the monster's stats, which include symbols for their attack and defense. Using the cards in your deck box, and those you accumulate by defeating monsters, put together one set of armor, one weapon and shield, or a two-handed weapon, and an amulet and 2 rings. To defeat a monster, the damage on your weapon has to be equal to or larger than the defense of the monster, and the defense on the armor and shield have to be equal to or larger than the attack of the monster. It's that simple. There are some wildcard symbols. It's explained on the rules in the box. Rings and amulets are pretty hard to find, and they can be used for either attack or defense. So to attack a monster, politely approach a staff member wearing the shirt, introduce yourself, and show them the set of equipment you want to use. If your symbols match, then you'll have defeated them, and they'll give
So
you a
that's why
reward
he's
and
wearing
remove
that
some of
shirt.
your
I was wondering
durability
what
from your
it was
items. They
about.
do this by clicking the card, so if you want to keep the card pristine, don't necessarily attack someone with it. It will get damaged in combat. Be careful not to waste your best items on low-level monsters. You're not allowed to attack the same monster twice in a row, so you need to explore Exilecon to find different GGG staff members. You can get maps by defeating monsters marked as gods. Take these maps to the map device to run them and progress through the tiers. On the back of the box is a list of quests. As you complete quests, you can visit the crafting bench on the top floor to receive rewards for completing those quests. While you're there, you can also use your currency items to modify your equipment. I mentioned that this year's version of the card game introduced a challenge league. That league is Delve. Accumulate sulfite and bring it to the Delve wall, sorry for the bad photo, it's hard with lighting, on the middle floor. Each sulfite card you hand in allows you to explore one tile of the Azurite mine. You'll all be working collaboratively throughout the event to delve deep into the mine, fight the monsters that lurk there, and uncover its treasures. And I feel really bad for the poor people that had to hang 3,000 cards on that wall. You may eventually be able to challenge the pinnacle bosses if you manage to get really far in the card game. I'm the Searing Exarch, Jonathan is the Eater of Worlds, and Mark is the Maven. Defeating any of the three of us will reward you with a Mirror of Calandra enamel pin. This pin is exclusively available for winning the card game and won't be sold in the merchandise shop.
Ooh.
Each person can only receive a maximum of 2 mirrors, and when they run out, we can't give any more out, so try to win the game early. The reason for 2 is a very typical Path of Exile reason, 1 for you and 1 to trade. All right, it's almost time to go and experience Exilecon 2023. Aside from the card game, we've prepared a full weekend of activities for you. There's a busy roster of talks and interviews on the main stage and the streamer stage. We've posted a schedule at pathofexile.com/Exilecon, so you can see what is happening when and where. The schedule also includes information on meet and greet sessions. Our special guests this year include a roster of many of your favorite streamers, but also some game development industry friends we've met over the last 16 years. We're proud to once again welcome the creators of the Diablo series, David Brevik, Max Schaefer, and Eric Schaefer, as well as Travis Baldry, who you may know from Fate, Torchlight, and his popular fantasy books, or even the books he's narrated. They'll not only have meet and greet sessions, but are also participating in an action RPG roundtable discussion alongside me and Eric tomorrow on the stage. In all of the developer talks and panels, Exilecon attendees will be able to scan a QR code on their phone to submit questions for the speakers to discuss in the panel or on the Q&A section of the talk.
Be very selective with them questions.
The Exile 2 Exilecon demo is a large one, and you may want to play it multiple times this weekend. In each session, you can pick from one of 4 character classes, which start at various points throughout the first 4 acts of Path of Exile 2's campaign. Around half of each act is included in the demo, and your session time is limited to 45 minutes before you have to let someone else have a turn. Remember, as Jonathan said earlier, this demo is hard. Read the signs that explain how your skills combine together. Dodge roll is your new friend. You should also swing by the Path of Exile mobile demo at the chill out area on the top floor and check out its progress.
Mobile.
It's coming along really well, and we'd love to get your feedback on it. We've created heaps of new Path of Exile merchandise, which is available at our merchandise shop on the middle floor. We've made 17 new t-shirts, which include a few from our community t-shirt design competition. We've created a range of 24 enamel pins. You'll have found a random one in your swag bag. If you approach me and I'm wearing a pin, feel free to swap for the one you've got if you'd like. Happy to trade. You can purchase the others in the shop. As mentioned before, there's also the super exclusive Mirror of Calandra pin that is only available to winners of the card game. Maybe you're able to trade for a full set. There are 2 new posters. One is the Atlas Passive Tree.
That's sick.
And the other is the Periodic Table of Currency.
I want that.
In addition to reprinting the incredibly popular Celestial Cat socks, we've also introduced the Chaos Orb socks, better for business meetings. There's also a range of 4 desk pads to keep your play area tidy. You can check them out in the demo zone.
I want to get a desk pad.
We have a limited range of Exilcon 2019 merchandise available in the store as well. Make sure to hit it up early if you want some of this, because stocks of the older items are quite limited. We have plenty of new merchandise for everyone, though, and I think I might have underestimated that. The Exilcon livestream concludes tomorrow with our grand racing finale, where 4 players compete for up to $10,000 and the title of Exilcon 2023 Racing Champion. Afterwards, we're hosting an after party at 8 p.m. at the venue. If you're watching from home, please note that because there are multiple things going on at the same time here, and we can only stream one of them live, we'll be re-streaming 3 of today's talks tomorrow before the event starts. So to be clear, they're occurring here, people can watch them in person, but you can't watch them at that time because we're streaming something else. So we're going to re-stream those tomorrow in the 3 hours where it's way too early to do it in New Zealand, but you can watch them online from the States and Europe. This makes sure that everyone is fully up to date on all of the talks that have been announced about Path of Exile 2 before the important Q&A in the morning where you get to ask the important questions. If you missed out on attending Exilcon this year, we'll be at Gamescom in Germany in August and PAX West in Seattle in September. At both shows, the Path of Exile 2 booth will have our Exilcon demo available to play and a small team of Grinding Games developers, including me and Jonathan, to chat to, and we hope to see you there. Thanks so much for joining us this weekend at Exilcon 2023. Have a great show, everyone.
Yeah, it was a good showcase.
So, I will say that they did not discuss the gold, so hopefully at some point they'll discuss gold.
They didn't.
At some point, maybe, hopefully. Like, why do we have gold? What's the gold for?
Welcome back to the second half, the post-stall cast. For you, I'm Ziggy D, joined once again by Mathel, Rise QT, and Negian. We're going to have a bit of a chat about what we've seen so far, and there is a lot to go over while we distract you while we wait for the next upcoming segment. Kriparian interviewing Jonathan about Path of Exile.
Yeah, I'm at 48% of 4 hours, so. But I guess I just keep watching. I guess it counts now.
Yeah, you do that.
I got the wings already.
Yeah. I already have really, really good wings. So the wings are cool, but my wings are cooler. But I don't have a portal effect, so I really want that.
Yeah, I don't have one either.
My wings were expensive as fuck, too. I got them on sale, and I still spent like $35 on them. It is a free game, but the cosmetics are expensive.
Alright, that's gonna be it for the stream.
Right now, I think Path of Exile deserves it more. Let's say Diablo.
Say what?
So I would say Path of Exile deserves that kind of money more than Diablo does.
Oh yeah. I ain't spending no damn $70 on that game. I don't even know if I'd play it if it was free.
Yeah, you would.
Not in its current state. Alright, I'm gonna end the stream. So I'll make a video sharing my thoughts on the announcements. Peace.